Hey, Trojan fans, welcome back to another Tune In Trojans broadcast. Basketball is back in the gym, so we have some exciting interviews talking to head coach Gardner and head coach David Moe about the upcoming things that basketball has going on. We also have Andy Roland in the studio today giving us a breakdown on how CCL for esports has been going. So let's hop on over and get into these interviews. Hey, Trojan fans, I am joined by head esports coach Andy Roland. The CCL League for Esports is in their fifth week right now. Coach, with us being over the midpoint of the CCL season, how are your teams stacking up competitively?
Yeah, so things are going pretty well so far. We pretty much have the whole spectrum covered. We've got Valorant, who's undefeated, looking really good, haven't really dropped a game. High hopes for them, best team in the league right now. So they're on the higher end of the spectrum. About midway would be our League of Legends team. They're struggling a little bit. Played some really good Iowa team this past week, who's got championship contending ability there. So that was a really tough match. But we've got some wins under our belt. We're moving right along with league. We've got a new team. We got a couple of freshmen on there that are still developing. So I'm happy with where they are. I'm not ecstatic, but they're still growing. And then on the lower end of the spectrum is our Rocket League guys who are still trying to find their fit. The competition in Rocket League is just so tough. Rocket League is a very hard game to play, especially when you get three guys who can really play it well. It's hard to sometimes it can be really hard to compete and play up to that level. But again, we've got some really solid members on that team. We've got freshmen that we're still looking to develop with them. So all in all, I'm happy in that we've got winning teams, we've got middle of the road teams, and we've got developing teams. So as a head coach, I'm okay with where we're at. I think the future looks good for us, moving all of those teams more towards the higher end of the spectrum. But all in all, it's been a solid semester so far, and really looking forward to how things shake up towards the end.
For sure. And just to play a little bit more into that question, for CCL, we have three game communities that compete in that, and that's that Rocket League, Valorant, and League of Legends. What are some goals as a coach that you have for these teams competing in the second half of CCL? What do you want to see them accomplish?
Right. Yeah, I think for Valorant, again at the higher end of the spectrum, is to stay consistent. They've been battling every match and really giving it, taking it to some teams. So I want to see them stay pretty consistent and hungry with it. I think our biggest trouble for them right now would be to underestimate any team that we have on the back end of our schedule. So as long as they can, come in knowing that each week is a week that they need to prep for and understand and keep that winning streak going. Is definitely something that I want to see our Valorant guys is stay consistent. With League of Legends, it's continuing to improve. I could right now, like they still have some tough games on the schedule. It would be just showing minor improvements in a little bits of their play, rotations, macro movement, and objectives. I think are some of the key points in League of Legends right now. So if we can stay honing in on our skills and continuing to develop with them, I think that would be one thing that I really want to look at towards the back end of our season is taking each one of those games, whether it's a really tough team like Iowa or Nebraska, or one of the universities that will have a better shot against. Is taking those advantages and learning from them. We've done that really well with the first half of our season with league. Is putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions and learning from it. Right now, towards the second half of the season, I want to see us put what we've learned into play a little bit more and watch us grow a little bit. And I've already seen it. Like you said, halfway through the season, I think we've learned a lot so far. So just continuing to build on the progress and the experience that we're gaining is definitely something that I want. And for Rocket League, it's really just stay with it, stay hungry, don't give up. All of the games that we've been playing have been really good for us. It may not look like it on paper or on score, but we are scoring goals. We are not making it easy for them. We're waiting for that edge, I think. And as soon as we get to that edge, we're really going to start putting up some numbers. But with every game that they play, they are fierce, and they're not a team that anyone on the schedule wants to see because winning that best of five is not easy to do. And so we really take it to the teams that we've been playing against. It's just it's finding the edge, that little piece to get us, away from that tiebreaker, so that we can start putting up games and things like that. So I still have high hopes for our Rocket League guys. It's almost like luck is not on our side right now, because they're fighting really hard, and they're doing really well. It just hasn't really fallen for us yet.
For sure. That's really exciting for you guys, though. And when I say CCL, that is kind of a newer event going on at Dakota State University. The CCL LAN event is kind of the end all be all from the CCL conference that you guys compete in. And you guys will be hosting that on DSU's campus this fall.
Yep.
But what does it take for a team to actually be able to attend that event?
Sure. So the season is laid out in a format where we take our regular season record, and we pitch you against, we put you in a ladder format. So the our first week of postseason is essentially single elimination, and so no matter where you are in the schedule, you have a chance of making LAN. So if you're number one, if we go through regular season and you're first place in the conference, you're seeded number one, you'll be playing the last place team in the conference, and then falling in two will play. Well, we have 8 teams, so two will play seven, and so on and so forth. So it'll be tougher for those at the bottom end of the bracket to be playing the higher end teams, but you still have a shot. It's a single elimination. The top four will go to LAN. We're expecting to go to LAN in two of our three scenes right now, but anything can happen really when we go up against these single eliminations. So that postseason for all of the single elimination matches will be the weekend right after Halloween. So we'll take our season will conclude right before Halloween. The weekend before that, we'll take a week off on the 31st for that weekend, and then we'll come back and play all of our postseason matches. Um, the top four teams from that will go on to play November 19th and 20th here at DSU. So the Collegiate Champions League, we've done this LAN event once before on our campus, and we knocked it out of the park. I'm so proud of everyone that was involved with it. To this day, we still talk about how fun and awesome and how well it was ran. So everyone's really looking forward to coming and getting involved again. I want to bring more people in. We've got a great collection of esports students and helping hands here. So we've got way more helping hands than we did last semester. So, or excuse me, last year. So I'm really looking forward to it. We had so much fun with it last year. It was really well done. Bringing in these universities again and having them see DSU and Madison and mingling with our community is definitely something we look forward to. We're really making DSU a great esports place.
For sure. And that's really exciting. Coach, thanks again for coming in, kind of giving us this breakdown on all of these upcoming things, how your teams are doing, and the exciting news and CCL approaching fast. We will be watching you guys upcoming this next weekend in all of your matches. And thanks again for coming in.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Trojan fans, I am joined by head women's basketball coach David Moe. The women's basketball team has been kicking off and they just started getting ready for their first game on November 1st. Coach, you guys just had your first practice yesterday. How did that go?
It was awesome. It was so awesome that my voice has already dropped an octave. It was really good. We went at 7:30 last night, which I think a few of our players were a little bit sleepy towards the end, but it was really good. With our first game being November 1st, we didn't want to practice for like 6 weeks before the first game because it can be kind of a drag. And so we wanted a good 4 weeks of practice, and they came in with a ton of energy, and it went honestly a lot better than I even thought it was going to be. So it was fantastic.
That's good. That's good. And what are some goals that you have for this upcoming season for your team?
Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit as a team about kind of where our vision is, where we want to be at the end of the year. Um, Expectations are pretty high in the program, to be honest with you. We've been, back to back conference champions. What? And I've been to back national tournaments. So like the expectations are really high, but it's a new team. We lost a lot of pieces from last year. Jesse Giles, Lexi Robson, Ashley McDonald, Shaylee Nagel, Mackenzie Hermanson, Shayla DeBeer, like players who have been like a huge part of the program over the last few years are gone now. And we have some really good pieces back. and some really, fun new pieces coming in. And I think people just aren't really sure what to make of us, but within the program, we like our team a lot. But we're just gonna stay focused on, getting better every day. That's all we can do. We talked a lot before practice last night about where our vision is. Obviously we want to compete for conference championships and get back to national tournament and stuff, but our focus has to be in the moment and let's get better today. Let's stay focused on the things we can control in this moment and let everything else fall where it may.
And that's so great, coach. And kind of touching a little bit more because your team has gone through quite a change from last year to this year. Um, Based on and looking back and comparing these 2 years, it's hard because you guys just started. But what are some things that you may be looking to do differently with this team this year compared to how you were handling your team last year?
Yeah, great question. Not only the players are different, but we have a new coaching staff too. Jamal Branco was with me for the last 5 years, and we had our own dynamic together. And he stepped away to spend more time with his family, and I hired his name's Jacob Lear, and he's fantastic. The last 5 years, I've been essentially the offensive coordinator, and Jamal was the defensive coordinator. But now that he's gone, Jake has such a good feel and knowledge of the offensive side of the ball. Not to say he's not a great defensive coach too, but I'm taking more of the defensive side for our team now, and he's taking more of the offensive side. And he's got a really, really good, kind of feel and vision for how we want to play, and we're putting in a new offensive system, which is going to be really exciting. You know, if people thought we played fast last year, they need to come out and watch us play this year because we're going to be even faster this year. And the team in general, I think this team more than any team it really fits my personality. I like to have a good time. I like to have fun, but when it's time to turn it on, like get really competitive and get really focused. And this team does that. And we have some great leaders on this team with Courtney Menning and LCS Leeson. Sydney Fake, who's been out the last 2 years with an injury. Savannah Walsdorf is a fourth year, player. We have some great leaders, and they're not afraid to just have fun, enjoy what they're doing, but also be able to turn it on and really compete and get after it. And it's just a really fun dynamic on the team right now.
For sure. Well, we're so excited to have your team back in practice, back in the gym, and soon enough, just less than a month away, we'll be able to watch you guys compete as well. So, coach, thanks again for coming in today, giving us a little bit of an update
All
on
right.
your team and just a little bit of insight to what's going to be going on this season. We're all really excited here at Trojan Nation about it.
Yeah, we're excited for the season, and all I'll say is come watch us play. We're gonna be fun to watch, and so it's gonna be a really fun year, and I can't wait to get going.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Trojan fans. I am joined by men's head basketball coach Gary Gardner. The men's basketball team has just started practice for their season as well this year. Coach, I'm curious to know what are some expectations that you have for this upcoming season for your team?
Well, we always have fairly high expectations, but our goal is the same just about every year, and that's to win our conference and get to the national tournament. And I really think we got a chance and a pretty good chance to do that this year. You want to set goals for your team, but you don't want to set them too high. They've got to be realistic, but you want to set them high enough where they're always reaching for it and you're always practicing a little harder.
For sure. And coach, what is the outlook for your team right now? We have some new athletes and we have some returning athletes. What's the outlook for all of these new athletes and returners that you're going to be having on your team this year?
Well, I think the outlook's pretty good. And from this standpoint, we do have some good returners, and we've got some new players that are good players. So that mixture sometimes can be better than having players that are all seniors, let's say. So the mixture of young guys and old guys I kind of like. And the old guys are really doing a good job this year of leading the new guys, of helping them out, not just on the floor, but off the floor too. And I think our togetherness right now and the team spirit that we have right now is very good.
That is great, Coach. And just a fun question to kind of end our interview here. What are some things that you are excited about for this upcoming year in basketball?
Well, I'm excited about our team, but I'm excited about some of our players too, like Ronnie Ladding. Ronnie Ladding is really getting better. He was second team all conference last year, and tremendous young man and works hard every day. And boy, he's just getting better and better. And I think you'll see a first team all conference player in him this year. Of course, he's a big, strong kid, 6'7", 260 or 70, and he plays that way too. And he really wants to get better. You know, some guys love to play the game and they don't come near reaching their potential, but Ronnie wants to be a great player. And so therefore he's putting out the time and effort to be that great player. Deshaun Kelly coming back, he's just an all-around player, and he's showing signs of really improving. Last year, he didn't reach close to his potential, you know, didn't play as well as we hoped he would. And this year, he's doing so much better, and he's really a talented player. And then, of course, Chris Morales, who plays harder than anybody in the country. He has really stepped up, and he's one of our leaders. And then Ethan Slaughog, who didn't get a lot of playing time last year because he was injured for about 2 months, but he's playing. Then we got 6 new guys that are all going to play, and you know, they're just everywhere from 6'10", 270 to, you know, we've got just all down the line, 6'6", 6'6", 6'4", 6 foot, you know. So I would say one of our strengths this year is going to be our depth. I think this is going to be the most depth I've had. This is my 14th year, and I think this is going to be the most depth that we've had. And boy, throughout the year, that really pays off. You're always going to have an injury, someone sick, maybe someone quits the team, you know, just on and on. And boy, that's when the depth is really, you know, injuries and so forth can just kill you. And this year we've got the depth, I think, that if we do have a couple of injuries, we can overcome it.
For sure. Well, Coach, this is certainly an exciting time. It's so great to have the men's basketball team back in the gym and getting ready for some of their first matchups. Thanks again, Coach, for coming in, giving us a great update on your guys. We're so excited to see you guys back this year.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm just like a little kid the night before Christmas. You know, I'm pretty excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another Tune In Trojans broadcast. If you do want to stay updated on all the upcoming tournaments, games, matches, and events, you can find all of this at our website at www.dsuathletics.com. And until next time, go Trojans.